Leanne Whitley also posted her question on Facebook. She wants to know, how would you fund a desalination plant and where would you put it? Joe Michael Perez goes first in this round. Mr. Perez, what's your response?
I'm not in favor for a desalination plant right now because it's a lot of risk and there's a lot of cons. And one con I will say, I will bring to everybody's attention is that those plants are expensive to build. It's a costly process, requires a lot of energy, dramatic environmental impact, high risk producing contaminated water. Now, I was looking more into this, and one thing I did see was that whenever you do a desalination process, everything's being processed except for elements called boron. Now those boron, now when everything's being processed, those boron, except you still have 50 to 70% of those boron elements inside the water, and that can cause a digestive tract, reproductive problems, and also developmental problems in animals. So I'm not in favor of the desalination plant because our bay right now, you're talking about you're gonna hurt fish. Now, if you kill off your fish, where's everybody gonna fish? You're talking about an increase in seafood prices. So I'm not in favor of the desalination.
Up next is Mayor Joe MCCOMB. Mayor, our viewer wants to know, how would you pay for a desal plant and where would you put it? Your response, please.
There's been a study, and desal has been a strategy since 2001 on the Region M Water Strategy Board. In 2013, they started making plans and we're moving forward with it. They've identified 2 locations, one on the Inner Harbor and one on La Quinta Channel. We have made arrangements with the Texas Water Development Board. All the council voted in support of that to fund it, and they approved it, and that's how you would fund it. There's other ways you can get it built and done, but right now we're not at that point. We're simply studying it. We're applying for the permits, TCEQ, and the funding has been identified. And the real question is, do you want a future water supply for the city of Corpus Christi? Whether you get it through groundwater, through surface water, or desal, this community needs water for the future. We've been through droughts, and so the issue is, where are we going to get that future supply? And based on studies and from all indications, that desal will give us an uninterruptible water supply for centuries. We've got a bottomless pit of water, and that's the direction we're going. We're doing everything in the proper way, and it's not going to have a negative impact on our bays. There's too many of us that fish and enjoy our recreation to do that.
Mayor Joe MCCOMB, thank you for that. Next is John Medina. John Medina, the question is about desalination. Where would you put that plant and how would you pay for it? Your response, please.
I'm for the desalination plant. I'm not happy with the way that they're going to be putting back the brine into the back bays. That is going to kill all our crustacean, all our fish, and we cannot allow that. We can actually sell the brine, figure out a way where it can filter itself. I'm getting a lot of back noise. We can let it figure out where it can. We can sell it. And also, the refineries use most of the water. So I feel that the refineries need to use, they need to pay for most of this. The refiners are going to be coming in plenty. And I believe that that's the main issue that they're wanting these desalination plants. It's not going to be for the citizens. It's because of the refiners that are coming. They use like 75 to 80% of the water. And I feel that they need to stick their hands in their pockets and pull money out and pay for these desalination plants. Enough with using the citizens' money. I believe that it's been past due that they need to start putting their part into it. And the citizens are tired of the taxes. You know, high taxes, and it's not only going to be one; it's going to be 2 desalination plants. Stop putting this saline back into the bay.
Hey, next up is Paul Ecuajaro, and the question is desal. Paulette, how would you fund a desal plant, and where would it be built?
The city is moving forward with desalination right now. It's being paid for by bonds and it's located in the Inner Harbor. However, we are not there yet in terms of the actual building of it. We must secure this uninterruptible source of water, but we also must know the exact price that the taxpayer will bear. Until we know that price, I will not be supporting desal. The ratepayer has the right to know what our fixed price for desalination will be. Yesterday, myself and 2 other councilmen, we voted to formally request what the guaranteed cost would be to you, the taxpayer. Mr. MCCOMB did not vote for that. So that tells you what is really important. Of course, an uninterruptible source of water is important. We all care about that. But we're here to make sure we are the strongest guardian of your tax dollar. And we need to tell you exactly what that cost is going to be. And yes, that is possible to do. When you make a $200 million decision as an elected representative, you do not ballpark anything. We must protect the taxpayer first. And as mayor, I will be the leader to protect you, the taxpayer.
Thank you. Pancho Villa is next up, and the question is about desalination. Mr. Villa, how would you fund a desal plant, and where would you put that facility? Let us know, please.
Okay. The desalination plant, the Barney Davis plant in Flower Bluff would be a good site for it. And I don't think that the city of Corpus Christi should finance a desalination plant when the main users of the water are refineries. I think that the refineries should pay. They should pay for a desalination plant and have it built exclusively for them, because we're losing Alice, Texas as a buyer of our water. And Ingleside is also looking at building a desalination plant. So we would have more than enough water for the next 50 years. And that's what was said when the Mary Roads pipeline was constructed, that we would not need to have another water source for the next 50 to 100 years. And here we are. It hasn't been that long ago, because I remember probably better than anybody else. So I'm not for building a desalination plant in the Corpus Christi area where the taxpayers would have to pay for it. We're talking about millions and millions of dollars. And I think the water rates are as high as I've ever seen them in my life. And I've lived here probably longer than anybody else. So I think we need to have a second look at it and make sure that the taxpayers agree with a desalination plant for this area, because since we built a pipeline, we're not supposed to have more need for water at this time. So I am not in favor of building a desalination plant at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Pancho Villa. We have to move on. Mr. Eric Rodriguez gets a shot at the desal question. Eric, funding and location is the question. Your response, please.
I believe right now is not the right time for desalination environmentally or financially for our city. I believe that the plans that are put forth they're just not correct. We don't have all the correct information environmentally. And as some of the other candidates spoke about, we don't have the financial information correct as well. And so we looked at all alternatives. Last year, myself, when I was the president of the Costa Bend Sierra Club, I held a press conference with other environmental groups to kind of talk about these issues. And we asked the city council to not move forward with any votes until they had all that information. And each one of them did still, except for Councilman Hernandez and Rudy Garza. I do believe that we have other pressing issues that we need to look at, especially the violation of the Clean Water Act that just happened. That's going to cost us a little over $750 million in the next 15 to 20 years to correct those consent and decrees.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. DISA is a hot topic right now. Priscilla Gonzalez, our viewer wants to know what your plan is for funding and building a desal plant. Your response, please.
So I'm for planning for water for our future. Desalination is obviously in the mix. I do believe in studying all potential resources before making an investment. Thank you.